vibrant, inclusive, and spiritual community that seeks to live intentionally, love unconditionally, and see God in all people and in all faiths. We believe the work we do in prayer and in the community creates a world that works for all cultures, races, orientations, and faiths. For over 60 years, we have practiced thinking globally and acting locally to help awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Annually, hundreds of people actively participate in our services, classes, events, and in our Spanish-speaking ministry. And we are training the next generation of spiritual leadership in our ministerial school. In the last few years, because of apparent divisions politically and socially, and because of threats to basic human rights, we have magnified our application of Science of Mind principles with engagement and compassion in action in the greater Napa Valley community. Our members have participated in women's marches, pride events, and we have hosted speakers on racial issues. We have empowered and mentored diverse leaders in our community and given scholarships to diverse ministerial students. We have donated over 4,000 pounds of food to our local food bank. Our spiritual director, Reverend Jay Lang, has facilitated an interfaith leadership group to hold public prayer vigils and 9/11 commemorations in participation with Jews, Muslims, and Christians. We have fostered the creation of a beloved community in the larger Napa Valley area by honoring community heroes at events and tithing to and partnering with a dozen different nonprofits that share our vision. Together, we've created a Martin Luther King Day of Service where over 1,200 participated in community service annually. The leadership of our parent organization, the Centers for Spiritual Living, headquartered in Golden, Colorado, recognized our community for all of the outstanding, compassionate work we've been doing over the last few years with the 2022 Meritorious Community Award. As we move forward to do this work of the heart, to awaken the world to its spiritual magnificence, will you join us as we continue to ascend to new heights and create a world that works for everyone?
Welcome to the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Jay Lang, and if you haven't had enough coffee, yes, my hair is green, just in case you were wondering. It was a challenge I gave to this community with the green bag donations that we have. And I'll show you later on a slide, but we had over 400 pounds, and to my agreement, I agreed to turn my hair green for a week, so here it is. And really, the applause goes to all of you for bringing so much food. We so appreciate it. So let's give all of you a round of applause. We like to start each service with our little music, and Shauna Marshall is here, and let's give her a round of applause.
All right, this one should get you up and moving and ready for the abundant spirit that Reverend Jay's going to be talking about today. All right, Shauna. Anticipation is killing me too. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical difficulties. I was going to bring my tambourine today and my cowbell, and I forgot both. Reverend Jay was very happy about that.
Here, let's go back.
However,
and then start again, and then don't touch anything.
I could just start generating.
Is the volume on? Track. Here, let me get in here.
It went much better.
It's not on the, yeah, that's the problem. Okay, it should look like that. Now try it. Okay, now we're here.
Right?
Ready?
Have you memorized it now? We don't even, okay.
can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. Oh, I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. Makes me feel so good, I feel most insane. I'm loving everything. I'm feeling
A little rock and roll this morning. That's great. Thank you so much, Shauna. It was a beautiful start. We'd like to begin our service with our vision and mission statement. So if you'll look up on the screen, or for those online, you've got a screen there as well, and you can read with us. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. A glorious affirmation for today. We know it to be the truth of who we are, who we're expressing, and what our intentions are creating in the world. So wonderful. So a few announcements to go. Last week I did make the challenge. If you we're willing to bring in enough food, over 400 pounds. And to give you a context, usually our donations is around 200 pounds. So it doubled the amount that usually brought in to do that. By now, my hair is green, but I'll let you know the amount, 468 pounds. That was awesome. So Janice, I want to acknowledge you. How did you take 468 pounds down to the food bank? So one bag at a time, huh?
There were a lot of really heavy bags. Like everybody on the challenge, everybody did canned goods. A wine box was packed full of.
So for those online who can't hear because she's not microphone, she just said there were a lot of bags that were full of cans, and somebody brought a box in. I actually know who that person was, and they were actually moving, so they just put all their stuff in. So it was great. So let's give yourselves a round of applause. Well done, well done. And what I'm grateful is I did a trial run of this during the week, and it does wash out. So this is good. I was grateful for that part. My wife's grateful for that part. So this is Latinx and Hispanic History Month. I appreciate all that you're doing to just be aware of that. We know that diversity makes us smarter. It makes our lives richer, especially here in the Napa Valley. Such a culture that we share, that we get to witness with the Mexican and Latin culture that's here. So and they've done so much to continue the richness of this and the prosperity of this valley. So we just acknowledge that and appreciate it in all that they are and all that they do this month. have a great deal of pride in our Spanish-speaking ministries that are on the second and fourth Sundays or every Wednesday for meditation. If you know anybody who's primarily a Spanish speaker and wants to hear about the spiritual principles that we talk about in Spanish in their native language, feel free to pass on. There's information on our website about it, and it's a growing ministry as well, led by Imelda Gomez and Martha Martinez. We are in the process of asking you to fill out cards of intention. This is what we do every year. We ask you to anticipate your giving for the next year, so in this case 2023, and to fill that out and have it in by next week or at least by the end of the month, but we want to tally that up and give that to the board so they know how to budget our money for the coming year. Now, what I know about when we call it specifically a card of intention because it's your intention of what to give, and we know that some things fluctuate with income. Both sometimes you are making less, but sometimes you're making more. So there's always a communication with the office that can be had. It's not a promissory note, in other words. But it's also part of your prosperity that I'll talk about in my message today, that with the intention that this is what I'm giving, you're intentional about your giving, then your abundance grows as well. So we do appreciate it. Other parts of this campaign we're doing, you'll find some cards on your chair today, or were given to you. Don't worry if there's writing on one side. We're just being environmentally friendly and using old cards we had. And what these cards are for is for you to write something that is a wish, a dream, a vision for this center, where you want us to see us expand, and then place it into the balloon here, the basket that's here. We've already had about 100 cards filled out, and we're starting to fill those out. So we also want to be able to share with those on the 30th. So if you could get those cards in today or by next Sunday, we'll share them on the 30th. And thank you for doing that. Thank you for being a part of this. We also, about a month ago, we had a gratitude appreciation event. We gave out plants in appreciation of other people. If you didn't get one of those plants, or if you want another one, there's some out in the lobby that are still left. This will be the last Sunday to receive those as well. So we appreciate everything that you're doing and everything you are in this community, and we are grateful for that. So a couple events coming up shortly. Forgot about this. So we have been receiving these cards of intention. So the theme for this is about the balloon rising up to greater levels, greater ascension into consciousness. So we've done a graph here of the cards that have come in so far. Think of it as NPR doing a pledge drive or something. So this is, they keep pushing it on the radio. We're just going to keep inviting it here on Sundays and let you know how we're doing. So we're continuing to fill up the balloon and continuing to rise. So this week we are at 67,800. So let's give ourselves a round of applause. We're doing well. We're well off ground and moving up to full level of height there we're doing. The other things that are going on is not next week, but the week after that, we have a sound healing by Bodhisattva. That's here. And he's going to be doing it here in the sanctuary, in the comfort of the sanctuary here. And it'll be after the service. What he suggested is that we don't start till 1 o'clock, so you can leave the service, go home, or eat out lunch and come back. Or it's time to invite friends and go pick them up and bring them. It's a great way to introduce what we do, the kind of healing work we do, the kind of sacred work we do to people outside our community. So invite neighbors, invite friends, and tickets are available online, or it was sent out in the email that I sent out this morning or on Friday. Also, on the 12th of November, we have Melissa and Z coming. They're so delightful and fun, master facilitators. They actually teach ministers how to ministerial students how to teach workshops. They're such masters of it. And so they have this workshop on Enneagram, and they made a little video for you about it.
Hello.
My name is Melissa Felipe.
And my name is Z Egloff, and we want to talk to you about our workshop, The Enneagram Experience.
If you don't already know what the Enneagram is, it is a personality system. My experience of learning about it has been that I have discovered and learned about aspects of my own personality and self that I had no idea existed. That's been very helpful.
Yeah, and in that process, it can be a way to really increase self-compassion and compassion for others.
Yes, absolutely. And it can help, as it has me anyway, in learning how to communicate with other people, other types of people.
Another thing about the Enneagram is we're often, because of those blind spots, we are doing things that are perpetuating our personality. We might be drawn to spiritual practices, for example, that are perpetuating our personality blind spots as opposed to helping liberate us from them. And so the Enneagram is a wonderful way to learn about practices that can actually help us grow.
Yes.
We've developed a unique way to teach the Enneagram, including starting with using an animal archetype.
I am a monkey.
And I'm an owl, but more on that later.
Yeah.
Whether you're brand new to the Enneagram, you know nothing about the Enneagram, that's great. Or even if you know a fair amount already, you will still get something out of this workshop. It's really fun. We're really excited. We look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So come and be with us. Bye.
Part of that. So that you kind of give some room on a Saturday. I know it's hard to give up a Saturday, but to have a break for lunch so you can go out together with the people in the workshop is a nice feature. And then we're also seeking volunteers to lead activities, including youth volunteers, also greeters and community ambassadors, people helping with the courtyard or kitchen or different things. So we just really appreciate if you would go by the welcome table and fill out a volunteer sheet and be engaged and be a part of this community. That's how we grow even more, so we appreciate it. And we also want to let you know that we're here for you, for your prayers, to support you in any way. Just let us know how we can support you, either by filling out prayers in the lobby, staying afterwards with practitioners to pray, or filling out a request online. We appreciate and are happy to support you. And now we'll begin the sacred part of our service. And as Shauna comes up, I'm going to let you know that this is a song she wrote for our community because she couldn't find one that just fit this moment. So what I would invite you to do after she finishes this song is, rather than applause, just stay in the sacredness of the moment.
Yeah, and you don't have to sing. I just put the words up there for you in case you felt so moved. But you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. As above, so below. From the clouds, the rain must flow. Follow the rainbow and you'll find your pot of gold.
Thank you, Shauna. As above, so below. And thank you, Shauna, again. And thank you, Eternal Spirit. I am grateful for this day. I am grateful to be here. I am grateful for this center, for this message today, for the music, and for each person here. Take a moment of silence to say thank you for all those personal things that are of value to you, that are meaningful, important, whether you see them or not. It's just a moment. As above, so below. In the beginning and at the end, Eternal Spirit, thank you. Hi. Recently, I revived my interest in Greg Braden. Anybody know Greg Braden? I like his combination of science and spirituality and his research on how our thoughts and words actually change the way the neurons in our brains function and how scientifically manifestation occurs. Well, Braden wanted to learn to pray. He had studied the ancients, and he wanted to learn to pray in the way that the ancients did, the Essenes and those before and so forth. Well, he connected with a Native American chief, an old grandfather, who said that he would teach him. So they're in the high desert, a true story. They're in the high desert of New Mexico that had been suffering the worst drought in years. They're on foot, sweltering, sweating. They get to the middle of nowhere, and David, that's the grandfather's name, stops, takes off his shoes, and sits cross-legged on the ground. Well, Greg does the same. After about 3 or 4 minutes of silence, David gets up, says, "Let's go. Our work here is finished." Well, that afternoon, the weather changed. It poured. So Greg called David and he said, "How do you account for this? What's going on? What happened?" And David said, and I'm really condensing this here, he said, "I did not pray for rain. I prayed rain." The secret, David went on to say, is that when we ask for something, we are saying that we don't have it. We're saying that we don't have what we want. And that's what we're giving our power to. And David went on to say, "I began with gratitude. Then I began to feel what rain feels like in my body. I felt rain. I smelled rain. I heard it plopping on the dry earth. I saw it on the land. I walked in the puddles. I saw our corn growing, healthy in the fields. And I said, thank you." You mean thanks for what we've done, for what we've created? No, creation is already complete. Everything is already here. We give thanks for the opportunity to choose it and bring it forth. So I invite you to do something with me. Close your eyes. If you do not want $1 million, just ignore us. So you want to hold out both hands. Both hands. Keep your eyes closed. Feel a big wad of money in each hand. big wad of money, just squeeze it, then lay it down. Look at that bank account online. It says $999,000. You kept some out to play with. What are you doing this afternoon? Maybe look in the real estate section of the paper. Call Dottie. Call that travel agent. Also, Jimmy Vassar's is open today. Take all of your friends, all of your neighbors, down to the waterfront grill. Tomorrow, send $50,000 to that kid of yours that needs it. Shock Reverend J and donate 10% to the center. Purple hair for that. Do not ask for. Do not pray for. Pray money. Pray health. Pray peace. And when you get that million, call me for dinner. Thank you.
So this next song I wrote for Reverend Jay as well. Back before COVID, when at the beginning of every service, he would ask us to stand and introduce ourselves to our neighbors and shake hands and hug. And then COVID hit right after that. Oh, so sorry. For the people in the back. And I wrote this song about that experience. So even if we're still not quite there yet, we can feel the love in the community and literally just put one foot in front of the other and keep on going. The road may be long and your path may feel weary, and you may not see your way very clearly, but I'm here to remind you at every storm's end there's a smile and a rainbow, and I welcome you, my friend. Now put one foot in front of the other and turn around and reach out for your sister and your brother. One foot in front of the other. You've got to learn to love yourself and take care of each other. And you just might think that you are out here all alone, that you're all by yourself, and you ain't got no one. But I'm here to tell you that what you've been waiting for is standing right here, looking in the mirror. So put your feet on the floor. Put one foot in front of the other. Turn around and reach out for your sister and your brother. One foot in front of the other. You've got to learn to love yourself and take care of each other. Now look into their eyes and see through all the red love yourself and take care of each other. One foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. Love yourself and take care of each
That's beautiful, Shauna. One foot in front of the other. It's a simple mantra that I think we can all use. And I do appreciate the times that we stood up and greet each other. I think we're getting closer to that time. We're just waiting a little bit longer on that. But we so appreciate the connection. Invite you to come out into the fellowship area outdoors and connect with people, especially those people who might be here for the first time or you haven't seen them in a while, to connect with them. If you happen to be here for the first time, a welcome to you, or if you're online, a welcome to you as well. We so appreciate new people giving us a try to see, if so to speak, if the shoe fits or not. So blessings to all. So today we are talking about the spiritual truths about prosperity, and it's interesting because a lot of people have kind of given me, not a lot, but a gentle pushback about wondering if it's appropriate for a church to be talking about money. Because there's so much baggage that comes with that, with churches and about guilt and obligation around giving. And we're not doing that at all. But I would like to make the big point that just in our intentional living, all the things we do to have intentional living through reading and studying and being a part of a community, praying, meditating, having intentional relationships, those things are part of our financial awareness, our financial mindfulness also. There's not a separation. It's not like we have, all our finances stuff over here and then we have our spiritual life here. It's all one. So we invite ourselves, this is a time for us to be aware when we might have a part of ourselves that we kind of hide away from in terms of our finances, or we don't pay attention, or I know myself when it's time to do bill pay, I like, okay, it's time to pay bills, it's like this real serious face comes on me, When really it's a very joyful thing to have the abundance to pay bills. When I wrote more checks, I used to put in the memo, thank you. You can still do that on bill pay. Guess what? There's still a memo you can put on there, or at least just have the feeling of gratitude for having a house, for having electricity and gas and food and all the things and the abundance that you have in your life. Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the book Four Agreements, I liked what he had to say about sometimes this disconnection. He said that many people have been domesticated into the belief that money is bad, evil, not spiritual, and such. Many carry judgment, shame, and guilt around money. We are taught not to talk about it, pretend we don't want it, even though we do. When we have lots, we either flaunt it or hide it. And when we have little, we either flaunt it, talking about our poverty and how miserable we are, or we hide that also. So, and what I'm saying is our own spiritual path is one where there is nothing that we want hidden or covered, that we want to allow ourselves to be mindful about the way we use money, we spend money, we receive money, we give money, to make it a conscious process, because I believe there's nothing in our lives that we want to be unconscious, because anything that is unconscious affects our whole spiritual life. And we, in fact, can celebrate our abundance in this way. So I want to walk through 3 spiritual tools that have been inspired by Lynn Twist, who wrote the book called The Soul of Money. First of all, the title, The Soul of Money, is kind of a funny thing to think about. Money itself is neutral. It only contains the energy and the consciousness that we put into it. If you think of it as water flowing, it is the flow of consciousness, of aliveness, of energy through us. And we can use money to convey, to be part of our intentions, to create. But it also waters the other intentions we have of love, joy, and peace. So I think the most important spiritual tool we'll talk about today is being intentional. Intentional the way that money is in our lives, what we feel about it, what we think about it, what we believe about it. And we know being intentional creates prosperity in our lives. Just like being intentional creates all sorts of things in our lives. The universe responds to our words. And what we experience within, above, so below, right? What we experience within, we experience around us. There's a correspondence, a mental equivalent of what we experience within us that we can experience around us. I also loved your story today by Greg Braden. It's been a while since I'd heard that story. Maybe for those of you who haven't heard it, it's a wonderful story. But the idea that we're not praying for rain or praying for abundance, we experience this abundance, this prosperity within us. We have a beingness. If we want to experience peace, we are peace. If we want to experience joy, we are joy. What we experience within is the truth of what we experience around us. The great I am that people talk about, not I am as the little I am, but the I am that was in the Bible of Moses and the burning bush. The burning bush identified itself as the I am that is I am. It's a great universal. It's just another name for spirit in some way, but I resonate with it because I resonate knowing that this I am is all there is. And what I know is the I am is the abundance that is within me, that I can experience this. And to open up to the truth and how we treat money, how we have money, we connect or pay attention to what that is, and how we give money. When we give money, or even if we're paying bills or something, this mindfulness is really important. I love the story in the Bible when Jesus, he talked about people who gave money to the synagogue. And he said that there were rich people who came to the synagogue and were very loud and proud about their giving. And he also talked about a widow who came and had very little money to give, but what she gave was from the heart. And he said what she gave was of more value to God, more value because of that open heart than the wealth, the abundance that the wealthy people had given because they weren't giving from the heart. And Lynn Twist, in her book Soul of Money, had a great story about that she said she was working for the Hunger Project, which was attempting to end hunger around the world. Big project. That's going to take a lot of money. So there was an executive of a corporation, she did not mention the corporation, who was going to donate $50,000 to her. And at that one time, that was more money than she'd ever received as a donation, that she had found. She went to go meet with him, and he gave her a check, but something didn't feel right about it. And what she recognized, what she knew about this company is they had had some really bad press about some environmental things they had done that were a disaster, and people were really negative about this company. So she realized he was trying to better his reputation. So his gift was not from the heart, it was from the head, about trying to get financial gain out of this, or at least what's called social capital, which is what you get when your company's reputation. And so she took the check, but she left his office, and it didn't sit right with her. And she went to a fundraiser in Harlem, which she didn't know why she was doing a fundraiser in Harlem, because she just didn't, it wasn't her usual place. I mean, she's from Marin County, right? That's a different kind of fundraiser from Marin County to Harlem, but she went there and she met these wonderful people in a church basement, and they were also excited about this hunger project. And she met one woman named Gertrude who didn't have a lot, but she gave $50 out of her heart because she believed in what the mission of the Hunger Project was. She accepted that gift for $100, and she returned the $50,000 check to this man because it wasn't in the right place. This man, many years later, retired from this company and began a different kind of soul searching in his life, and came and met with her again, and this time gave much more gift. And he said, I realized you giving me back my money changed my life, because I realized I wasn't coming from the right place. And now I want to give you this from the heart. And of course, she received it then. And so what we give, how we give it, is really important. And how we receive it as well. I think it's important that you don't give to the center or to anything out of obligation. Whether you give a few dollars to somebody who's asking for money on the street, or you give it to a nonprofit, you want to give it without strings attached, without attachment of any kind, just giving from the heart. So we don't encourage people to give out of guilt or obligation. And what I know, those churches that emphasize tithing, often it feels like an obligation. So we just give you the opportunity to give. Now, personally, I give 10% of my income. It's a tithe because it works for me. I found when I give a certain percentage, it serves me. I even had someone buy lunch for me the other day, which was really nice of them to do. And whenever I get unexpected income like that, even though it's not cash that I have in my hand, but it was something I received, I give 10% of that also. So anything like that, any kind of, today, matter of fact, the board's going to have lunch while we work on the budget. I know that's one of the exciting. Speaking of a spiritual practice, is the budget a spiritual practice, my board members in here? Yes, it is. So the center's buying us lunch so we can work through the things, and I'm going to tithe on that too. Because I believe, because it's the process of opening the heart, and that's what we want to do above all, is open our heart to be intentional, aware, and mindful. Do you remember as a kid playing games like Monopoly or something, and you had the play money? Do you remember that? And how fun that was? Because you were like, millions of dollars, yeah, all right, And even when you lost money, you had to give $1 million to somebody else. You kind of grumbled about it. It was disappointing, but there was no fear or anxiety about it, right? So what if in real life, as we're handling real money, we let go of the fear and anxiety and allowed ourselves financial freedom? Now, I'm not suggesting that you treat money carelessly or whatever, just give it all away. We want to be mindful. That part of the mindful process is being aware of how and what we do and being intentional and giving to organizations or situations that feed us, or that you're feeding their vision and mission, that it supports all that which is a greater life, a world that works for everyone. But I do want to encourage us to look at any limiting emotions we might have around financial situations, any fear or dread that we might have, and to experience this freedom that we can experience. And so when we do give, we might consider, or purchase, we might consider, for example, food that we purchase that is local or sustainable. We might want to be aware of what and who we're spending money with, the organizations, the businesses and are they environmentally sustainable? Do they do fair practices? Do they give themselves to charities and nonprofits? And just what is it that they're feeding, what are we feeding them in that way? And in this alignment with Spirit, who is willing to lead us to how we spend money, how we create in this way, then when we're in alignment with the best of our abilities. Because I know, in practicality, it's like choosing organic food. Sometimes organic food is more expensive and your budget may not allow that, or it may not be available. So you do the best job you can, and when you're doing the best job you can, or alignment with the highest and best that's possible, then it opens you up to a greater possibility because you're operating at a higher vibration. And that opens up to a greater way. Remember that money is like water flowing, and it flows in and out. And when that water becomes stagnant, whether there's not a flowing in or flowing out, then you know what happens to it. It's literally stagnant within ourselves. There's a block. I was taking a class with a friend of mine on prosperity, and they had us draw a picture. Just imagine our mind of our picture of a lake and our prosperity and our abundance and different things like that. And I didn't think much about it. I drew this picture of the lake that had multiple creeks and rivers coming into it. But as I looked at it, there was no flowing out of it. And the water continued to rise and rise. And what I recognized about myself at that time is Michelle and I had changed over our bank accounts. And we were in the process. It took a couple months to get everything switched over to a different bank. And at that time, I wasn't giving to the center because I had to make sure there was money in the bank before I wrote a check, right? And so what's interesting about that is there was that then I started trying to catch up with what I hadn't give, but it became almost like a head thing, writing checks to catch up for what hadn't, and it wasn't from the heart. So literally, it was fascinating, this image of this lake, the flowing out was not happening, and the water was just rising, right? So I consciously imagined the water flowing out, and as I wrote checks, as I gave, as I even paid bills, I could feel that that mindfulness flowing. And that's important. You just pay attention to what it is and how it is and how it opens up in our lives. I think the important thing about New Thought is there's a tendency to think that if you don't have enough, you're in lack financially, there's something wrong with you. Just like in Christian churches, more traditional Christian churches, it might be that we're sinning or something. And in New Thought, that guilt, that self questioning just turns to different words. Now you don't have enough consciousness. What's in your consciousness? And the truth is that we can experience almost anything. And it's not necessarily because we've done anything wrong. We can look at our beliefs, sure. And if there's beliefs, we can let go of it. But we don't get obsessed by that. We know that in the practitioner class, we've talked about this term first cause. And what first cause is about, there's that video. I don't know what, there it is. It's just out of order. Well, you can see them there. So, see how delightful they are. So we can experience a drought. Right now we are experiencing a drought. We can experience a drought in our lives, and we didn't necessarily do anything to cause it. It could be just the situation. It could be this inflation going on. It could be we lose a job, or situations change in our income and we have less to do. But there is a first cause, and what we mean by Spirit being first cause, it's not the cause of the problem, but we can go to first cause, we can go to Spirit, which no matter what we're experiencing in health, wealth, or relationships, that Spirit is the cause that can create something different in our lives. So we go to meditation, we go to prayer, we go to an awareness of this beingness within us, and we allow this to create something new. And I think it's time that we know rain, that we are rain, that we're not praying for rain, but we know rain, because it's time. We can feel some moisture in the air. It's time to bring it in, The harvest is finishing up. I think it's pretty much finished. So we can just let it rain. So let's just know rain and know abundance in our lives and know the greater truth. And the other spiritual truth that I want to talk today about is how gratitude creates prosperity. What we appreciate appreciates. It's that simple. I love how the stories I hear about Native Americans, that whether they harvested or they were hunting, that they would receive the bounty from the earth, but they would always give something in gratitude. Sometimes it was symbolic, some corn, some tobacco, but it was always a circulation. We're grateful that the earth has given us this gift, and we want to give back this circulation, this idea. And this is what this flow about it is, that we're grateful for this. I remember going to what is called, based on Native American, but I don't think it's really, it's kind of a, I guess a white person's adaptation of Native American stuff, but it's called a giving ceremony. And people bring things from their own altars, their own life that has spiritual significance, and they put it on the altar in the middle, and they say what it means to them. And then there's a pause, and then people begin to take something, not theirs, but take something from the altar that they then receive that represents something completely different to them. I remember there's many things that I've received in this kind of giving ceremony, and they're always gifts, and they're always things we can receive. So it's also about, in gratitude, we receive this truth. And sometimes it's in this comparison of what we do that opens us up to feeling like we have lack, when we really, from a gratitude place, we experience great abundance, great life. And the third area that I want to talk about today, the third spiritual truth, is collaboration creates prosperity. Collaboration creates prosperity. We have a vision that we want to co-create a world that works for everyone. The way we do that is to share and give and open up in a greater way. When we let our money and our abundance and our prosperity feed things that support us, and we receive that in kind, but we do it knowing that there's enough in this universe, that there's no lack, that there's a giving and receiving in all things, and we work together in partnerships. Lynn Twist, in her book, Soul of Money, talked about the Hunger Project and how many alliances she formed with different organizations. She also helped start a second organization called the Pachamama Alliance, which is based out of South America, that works to support the indigenous people there to have prosperity, to find a way to continue to live in the rainforest so that we don't have to destroy the rainforest, and be environmentally friendly and develop partnerships with that. She talked also in her work with the Hunger Project that sometimes giving food doesn't help people necessarily, but to help them start micro businesses and to develop their own economy systems that help them continue to sustain. Now, the food that we give for our food project is different, because that's primarily people that are low income. They have jobs, but they don't have enough right now, particularly in these days of inflation. So they are able to go to the different pantries and supplement what their income is, so their income can go for heat and shelter and clothing for their children. And that's the advantage of that. So we're not taking away, we're actually empowering them to continue working, continue contributing, but allowing them to not have food insecurity in that way. And I also know that the Martin Luther King Day of Compassion and Action that is restarting this year, that's something working with different nonprofits in this valley. And above all, we want to create, this is what Lynn Twist says, in the alchemy of collaboration, we become equal partners. We create wholeness and sufficiency for everyone. So we know that in creating this world works for everyone, the best way to do that, the golden rule is wonderful. The golden rule suggests we do unto others as we would do unto them. But the platinum rule goes another level, which is do unto others as they would have you do unto them, to treat others as they wish to be treated, which means being aware of other people, of other races, cultures, religions, orientations, or gender identifications, and we learn from them how they want to be treated. There's so many, this is a great little thing. There's so much division in this country right now. I know we want to stand for certain things, but at the same time, we need to listen to people that have different views, to put down our signs, our views, and our stubbornness, perhaps, and have real conversations. There's a lot of different organizations right now that are, this one's called Poderistas, that's empowering Latina women. And I think that's an area, and traditionally in Latin culture, women have been suppressed. And so they're doing something to empower them, to get them to vote, to connect with them. And there's so many different organizations that are doing right now that open up to a world that works for everyone. And that's what we're doing to collaborate, because this collaboration creates prosperity for us and creates a world that works for everyone. So let's join in that effort and be in this truth. Let us go to prayer. What I know in this moment is there is only one first cause, one life, one love, one power. And that we can experience that within, we can share it in the place of oneness with all. And together we create a world that works for everyone, that has enough, that is sustainable, that is sacred, that is powerful. And we know that by simply opening up to Spirit and allow it to express through us in powerful and creative ways. For we know what we know within, we experience all around us. And this is the truth of our being, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Jay. I wrote this next song for our very first Unbottled, which was a fundraiser that we were doing during COVID, trying to, continue to bring that community in. And when I was thinking about today and the law of circulation, this song is called Set Your Spirit Free, but it's really about the beating heart of our community and how we, flow. So, Sean? Of course, I love me some blues licks. Climb to the highest peak. You can hear your heart speak. She will tell you everything. Just let it be. And from that highest place, we can
Thank you, Shauna. Beautiful music today. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So this is a time in our service when we invite you to be part of the law of circulation. You're not going anywhere. Yep. You could walk around the church if you want to, but and we know what we know is that which you give and receive. What I've been talking about today comes back to you. It's a place of opening your heart. And what I invite you to do is to take that which you're giving today and bring it to your heart, because we want to give from the heart. And I need to get my clicker here. And repeat with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I serve, and all that I circulate. So it is. So if I could ask the ushers to come forward. We're still remembering ushers, so. And know the divine blessing is happening.
You all can sing this. You know it. I am so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
All that you have. It's so grateful for all of your giving and also for your ideas for our balloon up here. So Peggy, could you just go through, and if anybody needs a pen to write on those cards, we would appreciate that. So just kind of go down the aisle and raise your hand if you need a pen to write anything down, because we so appreciate your gratitude for that. We know that the money that you've given today and the love that you've given to the center today multiplies and blesses all of you. And so it is. We also like to greet anybody who might be here for the first time. We're so grateful for your presence in our community. If you're willing to raise your hand, our ushers have a special gift for you. I've got So we're just so blessed to have everybody here today, and all returning people too. Anybody online who happens to be with us for the first time, thank you for being here. And we also appreciate online people continuing to view us from wherever you are, especially since the 49er game has already started. So I hope you've delayed that a little bit. Maybe you're watching two televisions at once. I don't know how you're doing that, but we just raise our hands to bless the new people and online as well. And we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. We invite you to prayer. If the practitioners who are here could come up to the front and be prepared for that. If you want to stay for prayers, please be with them. They'll offer you a prayer for any concerns that you might have at this time. We so appreciate our practitioners and the love they have for prayer and that which they know in consciousness. So feel free to stay in the sanctuary. Even if you just want to stay in the sanctuary and stay in the peace, we ask that conversation move out into the courtyard so we can have this if you just want to sit and be in the peace. And now for our community affirmation, if we'll all stand. Well, you can come on up. We're going to get to that eventually. And repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by Spirit.
I am led by Spirit.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am protected by love.
I am protected by love.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am so grateful.
I am so grateful.
And so it
So it is. Okay. Now, everybody knows this song, right? And we got the words. So. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free with the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
All right. Many blessings. Have a great Sunday.
Hello.
My name is Melissa Felipe.
And my name is Z Egloff, and we want to talk to you about our workshop, The Enneagram Experience.
If you don't already know what the Enneagram is, it is a personality system. My experience of learning about it has been that I have discovered and learned about aspects of my own personality and self that I had no idea existed. That's been very helpful.
Yeah, and in that process, it can be a way to really increase self-compassion and compassion for others.
Yes, absolutely. And it can help, as it has me anyway, in learning how to communicate with other people, other types of people.
Another thing about the Enneagram is we're often, because of those blind spots, we are doing things that are perpetuating our personality. We might be drawn to spiritual practices, for example, that are perpetuating our personality blind spots as opposed to helping liberate us from them. And so the Enneagram is a wonderful way to learn about practices that can actually help us grow.
Yes.
We've developed a unique way to teach the Enneagram, including starting with using an animal archetype.
I am a monkey.
And I'm an owl, but more on that later.
Yeah.
Whether you're brand new to the Enneagram, you know nothing about the Enneagram, that's great. Or even if you know a fair amount already, you will still get something out of this workshop. It's really fun. We're really excited. We look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So come and be with us. Bye.